Good morning.
Good morning.
So like I said, I'm Yuqi, and for the past 5 months, I've been in San Diego, sunny San Diego, with Community Home Improvement Partners, or CHIP for short. And so one of my projects is to work on farm to preschool and to help home-based child care providers implement it at their sites. But before I begin, I want to ask a few of you, like with a show of hands, how many of you were picky eaters before? How many of you are still picky eating right now? Well, did you know that it takes at least 10 separate tries of a new food to determine whether you even like it or not? So that's one of the things I learned while working with the provider during my Farm to Preschool project. Okay, so what is Farm to Preschool? Farm to Preschool is a curriculum that's designed for children ages 3 to 5 years old. The curriculum increases children's exposure to local fruits and produce by highlighting a seasonal produce of the month called Harvest of the Month. And that's usually integrated into weekly activities like taste testings, book readings, and arts and crafts. The curriculum ultimately seeks to increase children's consumption of these seasonal and local produces, and to also establish, very early on in a child's life, the foundations for healthy eating patterns. So you and I all know the well-established link between very low food insecurity and high obesity rates. But my experiences living in Lemon Grove has made that all the more real for me. This is a picture of the main street of Lemon Grove. And so as you're walking down the main street of Lemon Grove, you'll see a McDonald's to your right, a Taco Bell on your left, a Jack in the Box in the corner, and grocery stores whose front aisles are stocked and filled with soda, candy, Cheetos, and other high-caloric, unnutritious foods. And so in this kind of environment, you would expect the obesity rate to be high, and it is, especially for children. Lemon Grove has the second highest childhood obesity rate in all of San Diego County. And so to kind of combat this high child obesity rate in San Diego, one of CHIP's programs called the Lemon Grove Heal Zone has decided to focus some of their efforts in the home-based child care provider sites. Mainly because these are the places that are often overlooked during the fight to lower childhood obesity rates. And so to make healthy eating more equitable and more accessible to everyone, the Lemon Grove Heal Zone decided to implement Farm to Preschool in the provider sites. And so the creators of Farm to Preschool, Occidental College in LA, has documented extensively the effectiveness of Farm to Preschool in child care centers. So much so that they found a 16% increase in children's preferences and consumption of produce after they went through the Farm to Preschool curriculum. So it's really effective. So why home-based child care centers? Well, Lemon Grove is a low-income site, and research has found that a lot of the low-income families tend to prefer non-traditional informal child care services like home-based child care providers. And that's because the child care centers are usually a little bit more expensive than what they can afford. So I piloted Farm to Preschool in 5 different home-based child care sites. And it was really clear early on that, while Farm to Preschool is really effective in child care centers, it wasn't so effective when I was implementing it in home-based child care sites. And a lot of the challenges I find was that the providers are working on a really limited budget, so they didn't really have the necessary money or resources to buy all of the supplies needed to implement the Farm to Preschool curriculum effectively. And because they're taking care of a lot of children at one time, there is just really no time to do anything else other than take care of the children. The providers has also indicated the need for more resources on the 2 most important demographics that they're working with, children and parents. So they wanted more resources on parent engagement and how to combat picky eating behaviors in their daycare children. So for example, Cynthia is one of the providers that I worked with, and she's a very busy lady. She works 50 hours a week taking care of 5 children between the ages of 2 to 5 years old. And she has started to realize that these children's families do not really eat healthy at all because children are coming to her site with brown bag lunches of whole milk, Cheetos, chips, pop for lunch. And so in order to make Farm to Preschool a lot more effective at her site, I suggested to Cynthia, taking into mind her time constraint and all the other challenges that she's going through, to seek small, teachable moments. And what this means is that instead of doing the curriculum as it is laid out, word for word, step by step, she finds opportunities when she is interacting with children, perhaps playing with them or cooking with them, to kind of incorporate this messaging of healthy eating and to expose the children to more local fruits and vegetables. So since then, Cynthia has made sure that there is a platter of fruits or veggies always in sight when the children are around and when she's taking care of them. And this is also a really great example of adapting the curriculum to suit the provider's interests. So this means that because Cynthia is really busy, she can distill down the most important information and messaging from the farm and preschool curriculum, and she can integrate it into her daily activities however she sees fit. Some of the other suggestions I made was I encouraged Cynthia to make some of her own supplies because she didn't have enough resources to buy the ones that are listed in the curriculum. So I suggested for her to make produce flashcards out of magazine pictures for the children, or I gave her topics on what to include in her parent newsletter to help the parents and start more of a healthy eating conversation back at home. And I also helped establish useful connections for Cynthia that the curriculum might not have given her. So she is now in contact with master gardeners who can help her with her gardening needs, and she has been to a few workshops that dealt with how to effectively engage parents in healthy eating conversations at home, and also how to address picky eating behaviors in her daycare children. So in review, Farm to Preschool is really effective to use in home-based childcare sites if it is used correctly and with a lot of readjustments. So the new curriculum must take into account the provider's busy schedule, and so it must be flexible enough for the provider to do, and also to provide more additional resources on concerning the two most important demographics that the providers are working with. So a lot more resources on parent engagement, and of course, how to combat those picky eaters out there. Thank you.